Well, it's a test of knowledge, experience, but most of all, skill. Talking about sim wars, and if you don't know what they are, News 12 The Bronx reporter Carmen Grant takes us over to St. Barnabas Hospital to explain.
It's a competition pitting doctor against doctor. In this medical matchup called Sim Wars, local physicians and medical residents are being tested on different scenarios, all involving crisis care and treatment.
It was different with like an audience in front of us, and there were a lot of extras, a lot of curveballs kind of thrown at us.
It's a first of its kind in the Bronx, involving all three Bronx hospitals. Medical teams from St. Barnabas, Lincoln Hospital, and Jacoby Medical Center were given simulated emergencies to tackle like strokes, heart attacks, and overdoses.
Doing sim gives us the opportunity to, at least practice on a mannequin as many times as we want.
We're talking high-tech mannequins that emulate a real person.
They seize, they blink, they talk, they cry, they bleed. And the wonderful thing about them is you can do procedures on them.
St. Barnabas Hospital walking away as the winning team, and some great bragging rights in this first ever Sim Wars.
I kind of knew we had a really strong team. Every member was very strong. We were very cohesive together, so I'm a little not surprised at the same time.
And we have a great support team with the administration and leadership, so it was a really great event.
Now the hospitals are hoping to make this medical competition Sim Wars an annual event here in the Bronx. Reporting outside of St. Barnabas Hospital, Carmen Grant, News 12 The Bronx.
An agitated patient comes into the emergency room and has a seizure.
I wasn't prepared for that to happen.
Medical residents spring into action to save a life.
Let's go ahead and intubate.
Thankfully, this is a simulation. But the scenario is very real, even if the patient is now a lifelike robot.
He has the ability to breathe, to blink, to talk, to cry. You can also do procedures on him, such as starting an IV.
He can even receive medication, all under the watchful eyes of other residents and judges, in the first event of its kind here, a competition called Sim Wars, pitting emergency medicine residents training at three Bronx hospitals against each other.
This was a lot of fun. It was different having like a whole crowd of people in front of us.
I'm a competitive person, friendly of course.
This version of Survivor featured teams of medical residents from St. Barnabas, Jacoby and Montefiore, and Lincoln hospitals. Each had 20 minutes to evaluate and treat a simulated medical emergency. They were judged on both their medical response and bedside manner. Like how they deal with family members who can make a tense situation even more so.
A lot of distractions going on, and you have to be able to manage that whole situation.
In the end, the team from St. Barnabas won the Sim Wars and now has a year worth of bragging rights. But the teams say the real reward was the experience gained from the competition.
It prepares you to act on your feet, be ready for things that you don't necessarily predict to happen.
It's good to be able to practice that in a simulated environment so that when you have the actual patient, you can do it right.
Organizers say they hope to make Sim Wars an annual event and in the future include teams of medical residents from across the city. In the Bronx, Aaron Clark, New York 1.
Now, New York's #1 news. Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Advanced simulated technology was used to recreate real-life emergency room situations at a hospital in the Bronx today. Physicians from St. Barnabas, Jacoby, Montefiore, and Lincoln Health Center took part in a trauma treatment competition. They worked on patients suffering from things like the flu, a heart attack, and gunshot wounds. May is National Trauma Awareness Month.